Throughout my years of study, I've always learned that it's the job of every Jew to find God everywhere, in every facet of life. Well, I think I have found God in Hamas. Allow me to explain. Let's take a big picture look. Rockets are flying all over southern Israel. Ashkelon, Ashdod, Kiryat Arba, Sderot. This is going on for years. Rockets coming down, missiles shooting everywhere, and yet, somehow, miraculously, very, very few casualties. These rockets are exploding in open areas, and it defies all odds. What happens? Eventually, the Israeli government says we can no longer take it. We've had months of massive rocket fire, we've got to go in. And they send in the IDF, and the Air Force goes in and bombs all over Gaza. And what happens? The rockets continue. Hamas says we will continue to shoot the rockets at Israel. Whether they're working or not, whether they hit the targets or not, we continue to send the rockets. Until finally, our Prime Minister says, this is not enough. We've got to go in with our ground troops. And that's a big risk. Well, they go in with the ground troops, and what do they discover? The tunnels. They knew about the tunnels, but not to the extent of what's really happening. And the plots, how Hamas was planning to use those tunnels for terrible, terrible deeds of terrible destruction throughout southern Israel. Who knows, hundreds, maybe thousands of Jews' lives were at peril. And yet, the rockets kept coming. Now, if I was the Hamas brain trust, wouldn't you have said, let's forget the rockets? Because if we keep shooting the rockets, eventually they're going to come in and they're going to find the tunnels. And the tunnels are the main thing that we want to do. That's our main plot. That's what we want to use. Let's just ease back. Let's stop the rockets so that we don't entice them to come in and find them. But they kept coming. They missed the targets, but they kept coming. And to me, that means it's as if God was saying, we keep shooting those missiles until you wake up. And then when you wake up, you'll find the real reason that you've got to be in Gaza. And that is to find out what Hamas is really planning to do. If not for the rockets, if they would have stopped, we wouldn't have gone in. We wouldn't have even known what they were planning. It's time that we say thank you to God for everything. And on a way, somehow, we can even say thank you for those missiles, because they weren't doing much harm, but they certainly sounded the alarm in us and prevented a tremendous tragedy for the Jewish people. Yes, we can find God in Hamas. We can find God everywhere. And we need to find God throughout this problem too. Something to think about.